Hello! Welcome back to another exciting episode of MegStories. If you're enjoying what you're watching, we kindly ask you to show your support by liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. My ex-fiancé heated on me with my cousin. Now my family want me to forgive him because he's sick with cancer. I am 27, don't have any siblings, but I have a cousin, Kevin, who's 2 years younger than me, and we literally grew up together. I spent a lot of time with my dad's side of the family. Mom is deceased. Dad never remarried, he has health issues, and I was there with Kevin most of the time. We did everything together. Fought, played, cried, laughed together. I've always been very close to my grandparents as well, so I was very comfortable being there. When I was engaged to my ex-fiancé, I used to bring her over to my grandparents' house most of the time. Her, me, and Kevin would spend our time doing things together. I noticed Kevin would try to take part even in personal conversations and try to tag along whenever we went out for dinner. I set some boundaries, but he just kept stomping over them. He changed. He tried to pick fights with me and claim I'm forgetting about him and prioritizing my ex over him. I didn't know how to deal with this, so I kept my distance. In about 2 months, I found from my aunt about Kevin constantly meeting up with my ex, and she told me she was worried something was going on between Kevin and my ex-fiancé, and she was right. Turned out my ex and Kevin got together, and I was being kept in the dark while I was planning our wedding and handing out invitations. I felt like an absolute idiot. I couldn't handle my anger. I stopped everything and cut contact with Kevin and the family, except Dad because he needed me. It's been over a year now. I heard that Kevin was out of the hospital, but I didn't know why, until my aunt reached out to me, telling me that Kevin has liver cancer and wasn't handling it well. I drove my dad to visit him once and saw my ex, who's now his girlfriend, there, and I left right. I kept my distance, and recently, I started getting calls from family members asking, "Did you hear about Kevin?" and telling me the same story. My grandmother called me wanting to arrange for a family dinner on Christmas, and because Kevin got out of the hospital, and wanted me to come, hoping I solve my issues with him, seeing that I may not be able to do it later, but I refused. She told me I needed to have some empathy and let go of the past because what happened to him was enough for me to let it go. They started pressuring me from all sides. I told my grandparent that I won't sit with my ex-fiancé and the person who wronged me at the same table and pretend to be happy family. They replied that I was resentful, that he's my cousin no matter what happens. It's the same people who allowed my ex into their house after what she did and sided with Kevin and said they only allowed my ex into the house for Kevin's sake, and now demand I get right with him because he clearly deserves more sympathy than I do. I'm deeply hurt, and I can't imagine sitting at the same table with the people who hurt me the most. What should I do at this point? I think everyone is being unfair and refusing or just ignoring what Kevin did to me. Now for the next story. My husband admitted to me that he has been cheating on me with his cousin for a majority of our marriage. My husband's cousin recently was killed in a car accident 3 weeks ago. This has made my husband visibly depressed and a lot less like himself lately. Tonight, when I got home from work, he had our 2 kids go spend the night at his mother's place and had made us dinner. After dinner, he sat me down and told me that I needed to prepare myself for what he was going to say. He then proceeded to tell me about his affair. To sum some things up, he essentially had been doing sexual things with his cousin since she seduced him when she was 13, and he was 16. This sexual activities went on through their adulthood up until he started to date me. After we got married, things didn't happen between him or his cousin until around 4 years into our marriage, when she supposedly convinced him to continue their sexual activities on the side. We've been married for a little over 15 years for context. This has continued up until 3 weeks ago, as you can imagine. He told me to take it as I will, and he'll accept anything I choose to do considering our marriage. His cousin apparently was a lot more than just some sex fling. I've never would have expected my husband to be cheating. He never did anything that would give it red flags, like coming in late or leaving hair of another woman around. I'm at a standstill and not sure where to go from here. I haven't been able to say anything to him after he was so blunt about it. I'm still crying some now. I don't know where to go from where. Updates. I want to first say that I appreciate all of the support I've received after posting my first post. I have thought a lot on the suggestions that I've been given and decided to go forward on some. I've talked with my mother about the situation, and she's agreed to take in my children until this situation is dealt with. I've also approached my husband about divorce and put my demands about wanting full custody of our children, as well as the house and other things. He hasn't put up a fight regarding any of those and has agreed to it. It's been really hard to swallow all of this, and I'm looking for a lawyer now to help with the divorce. My mother has also suggested to keep the real reasoning of our divorce away from our children as long as possible, especially my eldest daughter. This will be my second and last post of this matter. I again want to express that I really appreciate all of the helpful comments and suggestions. Thank you all for the support. If you enjoy this type of content and would like to see more of it, support the channel. Feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications.